Well, a little different than when you got the award in 2002.
Yeah, I think we was at the advocate offices, like a little small room when it first started or in the earlier days. So it's great to see that it's grown to this point where we see this nice audience and, the celebration of these athletes.
Well, let's get right to it. And one of the first questions I want to ask you, I know you've got a message you want to relay to these young people today that's very important. But talk about what the high school years that you spent meant in the development, your development as a person and as an athlete.
Oh, it meant a lot. I went to Capital Senior High School, for those who don't know. We had an amazing girls basketball team. We only lost 7 games in 4 years, which was an amazing feat. But those particular years taught me a lot about pressure and perseverance. And I'm gonna quote a lot of stuff. Coach Bob Starkey was my coach at LSU, and he posts a lot of quotes. And one of his quotes a few days ago was, "Pressure is a privilege." That means that someone expects something from you. And so I learned in those days about the expectations that were placed upon me and the things that I needed to do to help my team win, for myself to get better, and understanding what that pressure and perseverance would mean. My first 2 years, I did not win a state championship. We lost in the semifinal round both years. No, we lost in the finals one year and the semifinals round another year. I didn't win until my junior and senior year, and I believe that those 2 years really taught me a lot about what I needed to do, my discipline, my mental focus, my physical abilities, just getting ready for what the opposing teams was going to throw at me and being ready to excel and to reach the peak, which is a championship for all athletes, to be able to hoist that trophy at some point. So those early years really taught me about the conditioning of the mind and the conditioning of the body.
Talk a little bit about just your development from there. Is there anything that you'd want to look back and tell your younger self, looking back on it now, where you are?
Nutrition.
Including everything you've done. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, nutrition was something that I wish I had really took serious a little bit sooner. I know when you're younger, you eat a lot of snacks, you eat a lot of junk food because we can get away with it. Your metabolism is high. But to be honest, had I taken that a little bit more serious, I think later on in my career, especially in my professional career, my body would have lasted a little bit longer. Maybe I wouldn't have felt as fatigued. But every level requires a different version of you. Every level requires you to raise the level of awareness and what's necessary for you to excel. And so each level, from high school to college, you got to be a student athlete, even in high school, but college even more so, with the demands that you have. From the college to the professional level, it was just a demand of how excellent did you want to be? What were your goals and how were you going to achieve them? And so it was great to kind of see a lot of that come together, but really and truly, had my nutrition been in line with my discipline or my focus as far as my physical effort, I think I would have excelled even more. And I didn't do half bad, but...
No, you didn't do half bad. You didn't do half bad. She didn't do half bad. No, one thing that a lot of people, we talk a lot about your successes here, but I wrote a couple of years ago about one of the things that wasn't a success that actually kind of set you on a different path, and it led to you winning 3 Olympic gold medals. Sometimes you talk a little bit about how sometimes not winning or not getting what you want can actually inspire you to greatness, because I think it did that with you.
Yeah, it's funny because the first time I started playing ball, I remember the first game I lost. It was in elementary school. It was against a neighborhood friend that lived across the street. And I was so teed off, and I was going off, and my dad was there, and he saw me. He was like, "Look, you have to be a great loser before you can be a great runner." And I didn't understand. I was like, "A loser?" And he was like, "No, you have to understand, in order for you to respect and appreciate winning, you have to understand what that loss meant, the lessons that were learned during that time." And so for my first 4 years professionally, we were the worst team in the league. When I tell you other teams did not even warm up for us, like, they didn't. I remember walking out one game, and the young lady, I seen her, it was a friend of mine, I'm talking to her. I'm like, "Why are you not warming up?" She was like, "We're going to win by 20, and we already have our playoff position, so we're moving on to the next stage anyway." And that made me feel some type of way. And so when our time came and we had our dynasty team in Minnesota, I appreciated those wins because I understood what it meant when we were losing and we were at the bottom. So when we got there, I was more of a gracious winner than anything because of the hardships that I had faced prior to.
Everybody talks a lot about, again, your individual accolades, but one thing Coach Starkey and I have talked about with regard to you that a lot of people overlook, Not only was she was a great scorer, but she was great in other areas of the game too. But one of her attributes that people tend to overlook is that she was a great teammate. Talk about what it meant to especially I think about the Lynx teams, I think about all your teams. I think at each level that kind of grew within you.
I know, I think naturally I just became a leader because of my talent, and so everyone gravitated to me, but I'm not really a vocal person. This is hard for me to stand here and sit here and talk to you all because I'm very quiet and I'm very to myself, but I think those moments brought it out of me, having great teammates. And not all of your teammates are great. I know you all know. Some of them are a bit trying, but they help you understand what it takes to lead and what it takes to follow, because I've had great teammates, Lindsay Whalen, Sylvia Files, Rebecca Bronson, all players that stood up to the test of time. And when I wasn't my full self, when I was coming back from an ACL or some type of injury, they helped me along. And so it was just amazing to be able to be a part of that and then to learn and grow in an environment like that.
Any particular memories you have from your high school career? Because these young people are at the point where they're forming theirs. When you look back on it now, is there anything in particular you remember? I assume the state titles. Anything else?
Yeah, obviously the last state title that we had in Hammond. I think it was a sold-out crowd. My parents actually saved all the VHS tapes, so we watched some of the games. I know, VHS, right? Oh, man. But we got to see the crowd, and it was amazing. I just remember Capitol High fans were trying to come in, and no one was leaving. And they were like, where are we going to sit? And they was like, oh, you can stand in the stairway, or you can stand here. And just to see the impact that girls basketball had on the community of people or a state of people, that they were demanding a seat in this arena, and they wanted to see us play, and the impact we had on the generations even after us, really meant a lot to be able to experience that and see that, and definitely want to be a part of continuing the growth here in Louisiana.
And, you kind of see that again. You saw it again this year with LSU women's basketball, didn't you?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Yes. Give it up for the Lady Tigers. That was a joy to watch, and it was a long time coming. I mean, it took a while, but Coach Smallkey, Coach Starkey, that staff, those young ladies just went on a ride that we really didn't expect early on. But as you could see throughout the Final Four and throughout the playoffs, they started to come together and really play hard, play together, play to win, which is what we all, talk about as athletes. But to see them finally, be able to bring a national championship home after going myself, 3 Final Fours?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be able to finally, bring that national championship home was
And
good.
that's kind of a magical feeling too, isn't it? When it all comes together, when you're on a team like that, isn't there kind of a feel? Maybe I'm romanticizing. You tell me.
I know these athletes should be telling me. I know it's an amazing ride. That feeling, like you can look at your teammate and you just know what he or she wants you to do. The movement, the flow, the actions, the coaches are on point. You see the scouting report and you're like, I already know that. You locked in. The way that you get ready for the game and seeing the clock, seeing your opponents, you're looking across there and you're like, not tonight. Not tonight. This is our night. It's just that type of feel, and I saw that with the ladies in Dallas, and it was amazing to see that, finally, happen for them.
Well, I won't keep you on the hot spot too much longer.
Thank you.
But I know you really want to be a presence here. You want to help teach some of the athletes things that you know. Any wisdom or any parting advice you have for them?
You know what? They say your superpower is self-belief and imagination. I can believe in you, but if you don't believe in you, nothing else matters. Your family, your friends, everyone. And imagination. You have to almost be delusional about your goals. Like, not crazy delusional, like the good delusional. Set your goals, set them high. Set them high where you don't think you can accomplish them. And I promise you, I've been the benefactor of the universe's blessings. I remember setting goals, and I'm not really a goal setter. Everybody got an iPhone. You got your notepad in your iPhone. I remember tearing my ACL. And after that, I was coming back. A lot of contract situations was happening, and people didn't believe in me. And I was like, but I believe in me. I loaded up most of my contracts and bonuses. And I sat down and I wrote in my notepad, I just want 1 championship. I just want 1 All-Star. I just want 1 gold medal. And I ended up getting 4. I ended up getting 8. I ended up getting 3. Because I found the courage within me, even when people didn't believe in what I can do. And I had an imagination that was beyond what people would have thought. Now, I didn't think I was going to get a statue. But That makes my point. You get more than what you put out.
Seimone, and this is where I get to embarrass her a little bit. I asked her the other day how long we've known each other. She remembered the first time she met me. This actually makes me feel older than her probably, but I first met her when she was 9 years old, and she was a phenom then. She was destined for greatness, and she's been nothing but good for Baton Rouge and the community. Thank you.
Thank you.